Hello everyone and welcome back to My Opinion, and today I'm going to be reviewing the second T20 out of 3 between India and New Zealand. So India, by winning this game, took an unassailable lead of 2-0 with one game left to play, meaning that they won the series. And before this game, I saw on ESPN Cricket Info, I think by some pitch curator, who said that it was going to be very dewy and the game was being played in Ranchi, and there was dew from the outset. But I think that this game didn't exactly go in the way that you'd think it may have. So the tone was actually set from the very first over of Martin Guptill. Martin Guptill was basically flaying everything. In fact, both of the these two weren't a flay here, but both of the first balls of each innings were fours off the outside edge, and Martin Guptill from the first over was just flaying everything, and he should have Bhuvneshwar Kumar should have got him out, but KL Rahul dropped the catch, and the first over was quite expensive, yielding 14, I think. And New Zealand were very good in the power play, getting 64 runs in 6 overs, despite losing the wicket of Martin Guptill to an excellent short ball by Deepak Chahar. And Mark Chapman's wicket then fell at 79 for 2. And after that, India was starting to gain the upper hand in the game, because I felt like, and credit where it's due, maybe it's just that they prepared the pitch in this way, or maybe it just goes really well with the fact that there is dew there. But you saw in the pitches that, and I'm keeping on referring to this, but I probably will do in future videos as well for at least a little while, because you saw in Dubai night games that there was an unbalance. Now this isn't necessarily the pitch creator's fault, but in the second innings, as I said, it became way harder to kind of bowl with the dew around. But in this case, what went really well was that despite the fact that there was dew, and probably a lot more dew than there was in Dubai, the pitch was still conducive for slower bowlers, and the two spinners bowled excellently, and the guy who made his debut, Harshal Patel. Now, I've said in a previous video that I was thinking as to how he would bowl if, like, on a flatter track that wouldn't necessarily accommodate slow balls too well. But for his debut, the thing is, even though there was dew, because the pitch, you could still bowl like the stuff into the surface. Harshal Patel used that, and in the end, I think he got 1 for 20 odd. In fact, those three bowlers only got 1 for 20 odd. And in the case where dew is involved, it gives the chasing side the enormous upper hand. And India, after that 79 for 2, they, despite the fact that, okay, you could say New Zealand did hit a little, Glenn Phillips hit 34 off 21, so there was a little bit of a recovery to, I think, 125 for 3 and 15, where New Zealand could have tried to post a more competitive total. But India were excellent at the death and only gave 28 runs and took 3 wickets in the last 5 overs. And so New Zealand's score was limited to 153 for 6. And especially someone like Jimmy Neesham could have done damage, but he scored 3 off 12, not because he batted badly by any stretch. It was just that Indian bowlers are bowling that well against him. And yeah, he got caught behind for 3 off 12, and New Zealand with 153 for 6. The Indian openers walked out to bat, and the start was pretty good. I think they got 45 for no loss in the power play, so they didn't blow New Zealand away. But what they did was, look, they only need 154, and also they played quite some good shots off the paces. And I think that after that point, or I think from the 5th over to the 9th over, there actually wasn't a boundary. And so I'm saying, because of the nature of the surface, and it complemented really well, New Zealand was still in with a chance to defend this total, especially with the hiccup that happened in the first game, that India only narrowly got over the line despite looking to breeze through it. And I felt like, actually, though, India was 63 for no loss on 9 overs. Now, this wasn't necessarily any need for panic, because 1, they hadn't lost a wicket, and 2, it's only 154. But I felt like New Zealand at this point could have really put some kind of, they could have tried to contain the runs. But I thought the one turning point was the 10th over, because you couldn't really say Santner bowled badly, because Rohit Sharma hit against the spin over mid-wicket. He hit him for 6s. I think 2 6s in that over, which just released the shackles. And after that, they couldn't necessarily stop the Indian openers at all, with KL Rahul hitting, I mean, the definition of a skimmer of Adam Milne to get to 50, 51 of 40. He got out for 65 of 49, but I get why he played that shot, because, you know, the ball, you could say, was there to kind of play the flick, but it kind of rose up on him and he got caught. Surya Kumar Yadav got out, kind of played on, because he tried to play the ball through cover. I don't know who else got out before that. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, Venkatesh Iyer also... Rohit Sharma, I think, was the second biggest, sorry. The second biggest, sorry, yeah. Because he just said it was soft dismissal. He played it straight to extra cover. And the thing is, the player who I was actually going to get to here, because Venkatesh Iyer... Now, I understand there's two ways you can go about this, because... he's probably been introduced because of... Actually, no, I'll say the other one first. He's only played 10 IPL games, and you've seen how long it's taken for someone like a Surya Kumar Yadav to be picked for the Indian team. 10 IPL games and you're picking him, I just don't necessarily think it makes much. He should have been given at least one more season, because even if you look someone like Gaikwad, bad example, because I know there's different roles, but I'm saying that this is I don't get why they've picked him straight away. But the other thing is that I think it's striving for balance. Now, if you look at the kind of the same bowling all-rounders in India, there's Hardik Pandya, and then there's Shardul Thakur, and then there's pretty much no one else, because if you look at Shivam Dubey and Vijay Shankar are pretty much out of the running. And basically, Venkatesh Iyer is the third most probably reputable, or kind of the more informed all-rounder in the country right now. And so I think with Hardik Pandya being a batting all-rounder, Shardul Thakur being a bowling all-rounder, I think that they wanted someone to be able to fill Hardik Pandya's role if need be. And so they gave Vijay Shankar that role. Venkatesh Iyer that role. But I'm not... The reason why I'm saying it's too early, because, right, if you saw his innings today, he didn't get out, but two streaky boundaries. The problem is his foot movement isn't that great. So I think that with quality bowling, and even today, he kind of struggled with the bowling today. I'm not saying he's gonna do badly, but I really think it's not his fault as well. He'd obviously be happy if he got an India call-up, and I'm happy for him that he got that call-up. But the thing is, you can't... I think it's way too early to be putting him in after 10 IPL games when, as I said, a batsman like Surya Kumar Yadav took this long, until his 30s, to get into the team. I mean, it just doesn't make... It makes sense if you want to see the roles that they want Venkatesh Iyer to fill in, but not in the fact that he's relatively inexperienced. And coming to the all-rounder slot, I think that the way... look, Akshar Patel today, I think he showed why India, the second spinner has to be reliable. Now, I'm not saying Jadeja, I'm not saying anything bad about him here, but the problem is his bowling in T20s. Yes, when there is grip, you saw what he could do in the last two games, but I'm saying generally his T20 bowling isn't that great to be considered as a fifth bowler. And what happened was, against Pakistan, you kind of saw that when, yes, he didn't bowl badly, but I'm saying generally, if you want Jadeja to be your fifth bowler and your second spinner in white ball cricket, I don't think that can be the case. So I do think that it's better for India to prioritise the better bowler. You saw in Akshar Patel, because him and Ashwin, it makes a more well-rounded bowling attack. And the thing is, if Akshar Patel bats at 7 or something, look, if you want your number 7 batsman to be better at batting, then I don't really get the point of that, because by that time you are getting into the bowlers, and the bowlers need to do a job. Like, I mean, you can't just... Yes, Jadeja, even you saw for CSK, maybe this season he bowled better, but especially in IPL 2020, yes, obviously, look, right, you'd want someone to an impact player at number 6 or 7, but the problem is if they're required with the ball as well, and they don't exactly deliver in that facet of the game, it levels out. It actually kind of does more bad to the team, because let's say if the top order batsmen play really well, which they are doing right now, and you don't need the number 7 that much, and if the number 7 doesn't bowl well, it disrupts the harmony of the bowling attack, and it kind of, out of five main bowlers, one of the bowlers isn't as threatening as they could ideally be. And that's why I'm saying Akshar Patel with Ravichandran Ashwin. I really think that is the way going forward in T20 cricket for India. And I do still think Chakravarti should play. Now, people are kind of saying, well, he only bowls straight balls, he's not a mischief. But out of 8 overs, and I'm not going to go talking about the conditions he bowled in, but I'm saying because I've done that a lot. But out of 8 overs that he bowled 7 of them excellently. And yeah, he got kind of hit in the last over where he bowled kind of half trackers and they sat up. But he's bowled well for 7 out of 8 overs. So really, I don't think that, unless it's because of his injury, I hope it isn't because of a performance thing, because he honestly, you can't do much in the situation that he bowled. And for someone who's playing 2 games in a high profile tournament without any international experience, but basically any international experience beforehand, I actually think that he couldn't have actually done much better. But yeah, I think I've talked a lot about India this game, not much about New Zealand, and I do think that, look, I think that New Zealand could have taken the advantage, as I said, in the time when there wasn't any boundaries for 4 overs, but I do think that India just pretty much, barring that first 6 overs of New Zealand's innings, India pretty much dominated this whole game. And I was especially impressed with the way that in that Mitchell Santner over, Rohit Sharma was so intelligent with the way he played. I mean, he went big in that over. And the thing is, I just think that quashed any kind of hope that New Zealand, well, not hope, but the pressure that they were building up was basically just dispelled. And then the batsmen started playing their shots again. So, yeah, that was this game. And coming to other news, sorry. AB de Villiers has retired from all forms of cricket. And I think that the reason why this is going to be very kind of quite hard to get used to, especially in the IPL, is because, look, you've taken the Kohli and de Villiers pair for granted, especially I have, and I think that, and that's not in a bad way, I think that they've just been embedded into cricket for so long that you always have there's always in the back of your mind that they are there on the cricket pitch, but the fact that one of them isn't going to be there, and after so long as well, it's going to be quite different. I mean, look, you see an RCB without Kohli as captain, without de Villiers as a player, it's going to be quite different. And yeah, I'm just saying that it was great watching him play, and there's many innings where I actually think I've not seen someone who can take down pace bowling as well as he can at the death. I probably haven't seen someone who can take down pace bowling as well as he can. And yeah, I wish him very well in his retirement, and it'll be quite sad to see him not play cricket. And another thing, the T10 has started. There were 2 games today, which I couldn't watch, unfortunately, because of the India game. But I'm not sure if I'll be posting videos on those, because, again, in the other time, there was lockdown, and there was basically online learning in my last year of school. So I did have quite a bit of time to watch the games and post videos on each day, but I'm not sure whether I'll have that time now, because it is theoretically I should have more time, but I'm saying that I still have to go to uni, so I don't know. But I'll still be watching it, and I'll still try and post videos whenever I can about it, maybe do kind of a summary. There is a new team, the Chennai Braves, so I will be kind of supporting them. And yeah, let's see how that goes. If you like this, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and please share this video with your friends. And this is my opinion. What's yours?